it's more than a podcast. It's more than the internet. In fact, it's all about the community. So that's why us as Corner JUTA De Beer are about to host our first live experience on the 16th of April at Hallmark House. The experience is about all the corner creators, whether you're in the corner office, the corner of your bedroom, the corner of your little studio, whether you're still in the corner of your mind. We're hosting the best experience for you and everyone around you. Meet all the creators, meet all the ideas on the 16th of April, Hallmark House.
Moving with the wave is also a crazy idea, because in 15 years' time, that's not gonna think. Are you gonna switch it up again and get it? Nah, nigga, just do your thing. Because your thing could be the thing.
From Corner JUTA De Beer, imi nomsindisi wesizwe, umvelisi emnqango umelisi wesizwe, formerly known as Lwazi Madonsela, bringing you a show about creative entrepreneurs live from the landmark that not only birth SA street culture but also formalize the street hustle. On today's episode, we have Loyiso Gola.
If your ideas are all based on eyeballs and money, then you can't complain about capitalism or anything else, because those are the same principles. So you can't now complain when the principles are against you. You have to be consistent and be like, whether I'm doing it or it's me over, I gotta eat whatever, I eat, even if it's any flavor.
What about the consequences of success?
What do you mean?
Because we're always talking about like, there's these things, there's the eating concept, right? Where you do this and that, the cause and reaction. But what happens when you get a late night news and then everyone's like, bah, and then automatically when you no longer do that, they think you've fallen off, whereas you've actually gone up in a career?
Careers are very personal and careers are very lonely. So sometimes you can't look around you when you thinking of careers. You have to go, this is what I want to do. It's what you have to go, what do I want to do? Because you must remember, people overvalue the audience's perspective. The audience doesn't know what they want. People didn't know they wanted iPads until iPads existed. Now imagine if you had said to people, hey, do you guys want iPads? None of these niggas would have wanted iPads. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I personally don't overvalue the perspective of audiences, because they don't know what they want. And if they know what they want and they're getting it, then that's not art anymore. Art is interrogating, and it's intrusive. Art is intrusive.
How do you even know it's art? Because there's a moment where it's like, I see this, I think this is needed in the world. How do we distinguish? Like, a lot of people can take a picture and to them it's second nature. Like, I can take a picture, I can drop a joke, and then I can bring it full circle. How did you distinguish when it was art?
I think the person who creates it decides.
Okay.
Simple as that. I don't know. I mean, it's like you say, it's highly subjective. So whoever created it decides this is I'm making a piece of work that is, unless we're gonna go to the dictionary definition of art, and then then we can. But obviously things evolve. I don't know how you decide when something is art. I think if you made a decision on making some art, it could be crappy or whatever the case is, then it's art.
Because like I look at art the way I look at it. It's very subjective. It's a thing you do. And like you say, when you put it out, it feels like it's your art, it's your interpretation of what the world is. And then there's this thing that we go on with these plateaus, these steps we take as creatives, where it's like, this is a cool idea, you share it with your best friend, and that's a cool idea. And then you put it out, then you get more people who are not related to you liking it. Yeah. How have you managed throughout your career, which is over like 20 years now, where you know that now it's time to be mainstream, now it's time to just focus on what I actually tried to do in the beginning?
The ideas of streams are not, they're neither here for me. The people who with the things you do, because when we made Late Night News, I didn't even think it would be like a mainstream show. I was just making this thing, and when I was making it, first of all, I wanted to make it with my friends, because I don't like discussing my ideas with strangers. There's like a reference of like, because it's like when I talk rap music to the guys I know. I've got a WhatsApp group of my friends since I was 12 years old, and we discuss rap music because when we were 12, we were all listening to rap. So when we make the references and we connect and we talk about an album, we just now if I'm talking to a random guy who's gonna tell me Ludacris is the best rapper he's ever heard, I'm like, that's out of my zeitgeist, or I don't care about that. So when I was creating stuff, and the way I want to create stuff now is like, the guys I did Permanente with, and the guys I did Late Night News with, and the guys who shot my special are the guys I'm going to do the next project with, because our reference points are spot on. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't have to explain much. I'm like, yo, remember that thing I was telling you about? And 6 months later, here's the thing, I've developed it, it's now a different thing. And then we're like, okay, let's figure out how to make it. And there's like a consistency that I like really doing. And so even like when I was having meetings with Netflix and they wanted different people to do the special in terms of recorded and directed, I was like, I can't, these are my people.
Yeah.
And so even when I was in the UK, I was talking to like a bunch of people and be like, oh, this dude is gonna direct you. I said, this dude doesn't know he doesn't know
my thinking process.
He doesn't know. I know a guy who can optimize his thing. So for me, that's how I operate. That's how I try to. And so what's crazy sometimes is that people always network outside. You're like, but if you roll with the people, like there's a story of Tarantino shooting a movie, and one of the movies it's a crash scene, you know?
Yeah.
And you're supposed to leave the cameras on. And the dude rolls with the cameras, the car rolls with the camera inside, just cameras in pieces. The car is in pieces. They pull out the camera, the guy forgot to put on the record button. So they're like, yo, did you fire the guy? He goes, why would I fire the guy? Why would I let the guy learn a lesson on my set and go implement it on someone else's set? That's my guy. He fucked up on my set. He will never forget that lesson, but I want him to never forget it on my set. So people always like network outside, like grow with your people, just be with your people and grow with them, and you know what I mean? And sometimes that's not always the case. That's, you know, like that's an ideal for me personally. It's an ideal. Like I always go, oh no, I try to, there's people that I've started working with now and I'm like, oh no, I want to work with this person forever because I just like the way they
do things.
Yeah.
My thing is always like, because on late night you're not the head writer, right?
No.
But you know how to write, you've done stand-ups, you've done so many things. You've been a part of a writing room, and with the roast, you were the head writer.
Right.
How do you know when to play your role? Because a lot of us, we find ourselves in situations where it's like, oh my God, it's a blessing to be here, but I don't know when to pull back, when to show off, when not to do that.
I think comedy kind of eliminates a lot of that stuff because, so what had happened was after the roast, I had people who wrote dramas in that roast, which is a very new thing, who'd written dramas and like, oh, I'm not a comedy writer. I said, don't worry about it. I know what I'm going for and what I'm trying to accomplish. So comedy like is an equalizer because it's got nothing to do with feelings. It's like the people laugh. Yes, let's try enhance the laugh. It's not. So whoever gets the best, it's like laughter democratizes things. Mm-hmm. So if we're writing in a drama, we have a direction. And in that direction, the person who's in charge kind of directs it and moves. But with comedy, we're going for the laughs most of the time. And so if you're a junior writer, but you're getting all the laughs, you're getting all the laughs. What am I going to do? Like, I mean,
yeah.
It's democratized in like a very peculiar way, you know.
Mm. You do the stand-up, you do the writing, you do the broadcasting. When does it feel like, I think I've done enough in this career path? Does it ever get to feeling like that?
Nah, well, for me, I just want to always create stuff. There's ideas that I'm like, they're too grand for me. There's ideas that I'm trying to pull off, and then there's like things I'm trying to revisit and do better. Then there's things I'm trying to try with stand-up and all that kind of stuff. So for me, it's like, it's never, it also just keeps my mind going. Mm. You know what I mean? I can't, like, I haven't thought of like switching career paths and go, oh, now I'm gonna, you know, do something else. I just think like every once in a while I go, oh, actually I need to try that. Oh, actually I need to try directing. And when I direct, I'm gonna implement these kind of ideas. Mm. Like I'm gonna be very specific about what I'm trying to do, you know. But I think my next frontier, maybe not now, maybe 5 years, I'm gonna try direct. I'm gonna be headed towards it. Cause I look at things and I observe things, and sometimes I've been directed by people, and then I go, oh yeah, you're a good director, but I think like if you did it like this. But obviously I'm not gonna walk on someone's set and say that. I'll try create my own directing opportunity, and I'll do it like that. And I know myself that I've done things differently and people have adopted it. You know what I mean? They've adopted the idea that I was like, oh yeah, okay, cool, boom. Yeah.
Everyone's moving at my speed now.
Not necessarily my speed. They using a great deal of my process.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I've seen it. I've seen it many times. I'm like, oh, let's try that. Let's do this. Oh, how about we work like? And then people are like, oh, people have told me, oh, that thing, that's the way. You know what I mean? That's the way I approach it now.
There's also this grand perception, like when you partner with certain people or work with certain brands, like global brands, the likes of Netflix, the likes of a Showmax, that if you're on Netflix, you're getting paid the same money as Kevin Hart or as who and who. How do you work around those perceptions of who you are versus opposed to what you are and what you're trying to achieve?
I understand, like, having a certain level of notoriety, there's a certain expectation of you as a human being in general. So there's the expectation of, I don't know, like maybe, let's say, present myself materially in a specific way. But I'm like, nah, I'm not like that. What I like is this. So, I don't know, like, I don't live in a townhouse. I live in a regular apartment block. I do regular shit. I go buy bread. Like I don't have, like, I don't feel that thing of, like, now I must. Young Tola, like, sure. I'm like, it's like there's going to be an era of things that I'm turning 40, so what I do understand is that everything shifts and everything changes, right? So standards of beauty shift. What genre of music, like when I was 14, rap was not a chart-topping genre. I saw it become a chart-topping genre. I saw things shift. I saw people have those block TVs, plasma, those biggish TVs, plasma, and people now tell you that I don't have a TV, I consume everything on my iPad. Right, I'm saying, like, so if you've seen those shifts, you're fully aware of, like, the idea of things change all the time. So you can't necessarily be confined or be told by shit that's gonna change next week how you must move. You gotta move the way you move. I'll give you an example. Comics put clips of themselves weekly on YouTube to pop. I've seen people go from nothing to selling out big theaters, but I'm like, that's gonna change. You know what I mean? Yeah. I gotta do the things that I gotta do. And so a lot of people really, really overvalue what's in front of them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I was talking to a friend of mine and I said to her, she was telling me about, like, hey, she went on a date and she liked the dude because his beard connected. But I was like, the idea of a beard being an attractive thing,
it's very recent.
It's so recent that the person doesn't see that, you know, they're not connecting. No, in 15 years' time, this is going to be a totally different thing that people are going to be generally attracted to. And so if you think of, like, there's a product right now, right, that we think is untouchable, and you've seen it.
iPhone.
Well, the iPhone's a good example. When the iPhone was on the come up, BlackBerry was peak. When BlackBerry was on the come up, Nokia was peak. Yeah. Do you understand what I'm saying? But all those phones were different things. The iPhone guys weren't like, BlackBerry is kicking our asses, let's focus. What's BlackBerry? No, they're just like, let's make a phone and let's see what happens. Sega, when I was 14, Sega Genesis was the best thing ever. Where's Sega now? It's like no one cares about it. I don't even remember the last time someone spoke about a Sega console. But when I was 14 playing Mortal Kombat, that was the thing. And that has shifted over the time. And in 15 years' time, the world you're looking at is going to be completely different. And so the idea that you are moving with the wave is also a crazy idea, because in 15 years time, that's not gonna think. Are you gonna switch it up again and get it? Nah, nigga, just do your thing. Because your thing could be the thing. Or your thing could be getting you ready for the next wave that you're not aware of at the moment. You just work your shit. So I tell people, don't concentrate on what's happening around you. Just concentrate on your shit. Your shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when BlackBerry was popping, iPhone was concentrating on their shit. They didn't go, no. They were like, no, don't worry, we're doing this phone like this. They didn't go, because BlackBerry shut down. But we were in the middle of BlackBerry. We didn't ever see BlackBerry not existing. This is the point I make.
With the point you make, right? Speaking of phones, it's like you see things are going, but because you've had this foresight and this lived experience, how in the moment when you are trending on TikTok, you're like, maybe if I pull that clip and that clip, how do you also still create restraint around everything around you? Because the world is moving, the numbers are hectic, there's more people following you, like, wait, why is this traction this much? And then you find the cause. How do you still stay sane in those moments? Because all of us, we like, I want to blow up like Uncle Waffles, but do you understand when Uncle Waffles has to tour every day?
Yeah, but I'll tell you a story. I was in London, I was playing football, and then I saw these kids that were like, oh, yo, you that dude from TikTok. I was like, I'm not on TikTok, I'm on TikTok. So
Follow.
Nah, I am on TikTok, but I'm not on TikTok. So I went online and I checked what these kids are talking about. And turns my name was like hashtagged like 20 million times or something. And I wasn't on the thing. Now, after finding out what it takes to be on this thing, I was like, nah, I'm gonna opt out. Do you know what I mean?
The consistency was too much.
It's not even the consistency. Remember, like, the output requires me to change my whole way of operating. Like, for me, it takes me a year and a half to write a good new show. That's worth your time, that you sit in a theater with and be like, oh, that's fire. I've thought of the idea. Like, you could say, oh, what did you mean when you were, I'll be like, oh no, I read this thing, I connected with this thing. So now, if I belong to that TikTok idea of output, I take the idea, it's on first draft, and I put it out. Do you know what I mean? I don't, like, I'm like, no, I see it.
Are we then?
Don't get me wrong. I see it. I get it, and the people who do it, do it. I myself don't do it. I operate very differently, and it's maybe I could be wrong and I could be left behind by everyone, or it could just be setting me up for the next wave that we're not aware of.
Because that's my question. It's like, do you not feel at times that you are the BlackBerry and you're still doing buttons and touch at the same time, whereas we're trying to move fully touch? Because you touch and go on TikTok,
but you don't
see what's happening, but you're like, nah, it's cool.
No, I don't feel like that at all. I don't feel like that. I still think I write a high level of stand-up, and I produce a high level of work, and I put out a high quality of stuff. We're just literally talking about output.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is not, the way I get to my high quality is not the same way. So I'm out. That TikTok thing is too much for me. I gotta put out like a 3-minute every, no ways. It's crazy for me. That's crazy for me.
I think with our past conversation, the biggest thing that stuck out for me is discipline and the role of discipline has played in your life.
In my life, I'm probably one of the
off.
least disciplined people.
The like they're off.
The like they're off?
How do you navigate when you have like a corporate gig and you have to get to that?
Oh no!
Because a lot of people say, "I procrastinate. I don't feel like I'd be able to do it that often."
Oh no! I think I don't have a problem. I do a lot of corporate gigs all the time. Like, I'll host gigs with the president or whoever is there, and that's not a big, that doesn't require discipline for me. It's the same if I'm talking to my gran. I don't talk the same way I'm talking to my boys. I'm like, yo, you know what I mean? There's a certain way I talk to her. I understand there's certain concepts that they might miss, so I try to sort of mollycoddle them, and but I don't have a problem with like switching it up for corporate at all. Like, that's like that, like in terms of concerns, that's probably at the bottom of my concern. Like in the filing cabinet, that's at the bottom.
The biggest thing that stuck out for me, man, it's like we always looking at things like, yo, this is what's blowing up right now. And the thing for me is always like the niche, not to say niche is the answer, but like carving your own lane and being like very comfortable in that.
Yeah.
And you're one of those people who's found comfort in your lane. You do your show in London, you do your show in South Africa. What's that balance like, living in both continents, selling the same story but to different crowds?
When I first moved to Johannesburg, I'd always like when I was in Cape Town doing stand-up in high school, I thought Joburg is the frontier. And then that was literally probably 18 years ago. Now I'm like, London is the frontier, and there'll be another frontier. I have an idea of where I want to be in the next 5 years and what it takes, right? So London was the step to get to where I'm trying to get. And it's so crazy, like sometimes when you, like if you tell someone who's 21 or 25 or like in their 20s, the idea of time is very different to mine. Like I can have a 5-year plan. Like at 23, people find it difficult to like go, oh, this is gonna materialize in 5 years. That's why like, yo, everything is important. And I get this idea of time, this ideas that I didn't grasp when I was 25 as opposed to now that I'm turning 40. So for me, the London and Johannesburg, London is leading me to my next thing. Now, I'm not gonna say what the next thing is because what happens is once you put it out, the brain tricks you, like the brain computes it as something that's been completed and done. So when I put it out publicly, people are gonna ask me about it, and then my brain is gonna compute it like that's something that I've accomplished and done, but I haven't done it yet, so I'm not gonna speak it. I speak it in my meditations, but I won't speak it publicly.
Yeah.
Because it tricks my brain, and I don't, I know how that be.
I remember I heard that. They said the minute you show someone your idea, for your brain it's enough. You don't even have to execute it.
See what I'm saying?
Like, that's what I thought it should be.
Yeah.
And now it's cool. Just because Loy heard it, then we run it.
Right. And the truth is you're very far from it. So I'm not like withholding stuff from you. You get the concept.
Yeah. As an entertainer, more than anything, you're a business at this stage because you're doing arenas. These are formal discussions that you're running. In your creative entrepreneurship, what's that one thing that you can't overlook? When you're doing a show in London or when you're doing a show in Joburg?
I try to play theaters.
Yeah.
I like theaters. I like the idea, because there's a certain decorum people approach theaters. They generally dress nice. They generally seated a specific way. In
a specific crowd.
It's well, not necessarily like, I think people just come wherever you are. So it's lit a certain way. There's just a feeling about it that allows me. When you're playing a massive room of stand-up, you're drawing, you're like a draw. But when you're in a theater, it's like you're coloring in. Like you can color in, I want the eyes to be purple, or whatever the hell it is. You get to color, you get to add more color to, because the sound is crispy. There's a comfort in a theater that I really, 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 really cannot deny. So I try wherever I go to consistently stay in the same realm of space. I don't like really ostentatious spaces. I don't like a lot of spaces where there's a lot of movement and things so a lot of people will try to book me, say, yo, then I usually go, yo, send me a picture of the place you want me to be at. Because it also helps me to operate at my optimum,
Yeah.
It's like, so I'd always look at the space, I go, oh yeah, bet that's where I want to be. You know what I mean?
Because now there's been a year where you're just purely running it. If someone was trying to book Loyiso at some stage, they were just calling your direct number and doing the
email.
Yeah.
But the thing that I learned about like just dealing with stuff myself, well, specifically this last year, is that I don't have the resources to have 10 emails back and forth. Like, I'd rather talk to you on the phone for 10 minutes and we can agree that, like, in 10 minutes we can ascertain whether I want to do this or not. Do you know what I mean? And most of the time, most meetings can be done in 7 minutes, max. Not even a Zoom. Let's meet eye to eye, say what you want to say, let me say what I want to say, and we keep moving.
Yeah.
But people want to send back and forth emails because when there's a up in the, I get it, because if there's a up in the, in whatever we're trying to do, you can pull a paper trail. I get that, but sometimes there's a buy-in that's very important initially, and you could try to tell me what you're trying to do without, you know what I mean? Like, hey, I was trying to do this thing. What's your budget? forget this. I'm not going to do it for that budget or whatever the decision is. You can get to the final idea and answer in 7 minutes instead of like now we've won four emails back and forth, wasting everybody's time.
Talking about the budget, how are you still pricing towards what you're trying to achieve in that year, or are you pricing according to now on TikTok we're on 20 million hits, now we just did a Netflix special? Does it change? Does it range? How do you think, as you've done in your career, people should price as they keep going up in their careers?
Pricing in the arts is tricky, man, because like for me, I don't know. Like for me, this is such a complicated question because I don't see it that way. I just go because for all intents and purposes, it's an intangible value. It's like in other careers, they'll go like if you're a Springbok, if you have this many caps, you get this much. You know what I mean? There's like so I've been doing stand-up for 20 years, and because there's no rules, we're not in like a medical field, we're not like regulated, not regulated, we're not unionized, so there are no like rules. Like there's a DJ who's been working 20 years, but probably doesn't charge more than Uncle Waffles. So can that DJ then go, hey, you price yourself the amount people are willing to pay. It's a bizarre, otherwise you'll just be upset at everything.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Like I can imagine, and a person, would they be justified to be like, but Uncle Waffles gets way more than me, and I've been DJing like, and I DJ with vinyl, and bro, it's her thing. She's there. She's in the mix. She's the biggest thing. Whatever the reasons are, it is what it is. So pricing is a very tricky one to even. You just have to. But sometimes you just want to price people. Like there's things where you're like, if I'm doing this one, they must pay me a proper bag, or like, oh, I'd like to do that. It'll be cool. Or I don't think there's like a fixed way of me operating. I like going, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I'd like to do that. I have a price, and sometimes depending on our relationship, we can bring it up or down. It's neither here or there. There's no like, because even with ticket sales, my ticket sales are probably the same in the last 10 years in terms of pricing. So I don't know how to. I genuinely don't know how to. Someone is like, you could charge 3,000, okay, but I'm not, so fuck it. You know what I mean?
I get you. The most important question on our podcast is
the most important question.
The most important.
Okay.
It's the Beyonce. It's the dream girl, Destiny's Child. What's your word to the youth?
My word to the youth, man. Yo, f the youth, son. No.
You're the fourth person to say that.
Them kids, boy. There's these programs and these initiatives to get like youths to be involved, whether it be technology, whatever but the youth are extremely capable, I think. And it's basically that gets the youth going. It's not opportunity per se. It's can a kid who's in Alex now get to Fort Loras and then Soweto, then Rosebank, then Kempton Park in one evening to experience whatever they want to experience? The answer is no. Can a dude just access the internet fast and cheap? No. So I don't think the youth so I empathize with them because these are the things they need. Because when I was young, the infrastructure of South Africa allowed me, specifically the transport infrastructure, to move. I could be in Kailicha at 7 and then in Simonstown by like 8:30. Do you understand? Via the train. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so like I used to just see things because The infrastructure was there. I saw, I don't know if you know Muta Baruka. He's like a Jamaican poet. I'm not into poetry, but he's here. Can we get there? Me and my boys are in the train, we're there. We saw, you know, Stretch and Bobito? They used to have this rap show. No, I'm saying like, but when they came into town, it wasn't a big thing for us to go see them. We used to jump on the bus.
Yeah.
And so that's what the youth needs. They need access to things. They like literally, the internet is slow. So even if you have an idea, you can't produce it because the electricity doesn't work, and you can't. The youth are not stupid. They just need this to work so they can do the shit they need to do. That's it. Like if I find it, like I did a shoot with a dope photographer from Tembisa. At night he can't get home. I have to call him an Uber. The Uber doesn't want to go there. It's a problem. It's the same. So the problems that youths in the arts and youths who are trying to study medicine or whatever, are the same issues. Just make the things. The people will figure it out themselves. They always will. They always do. Let the electricity work, let the internet be fast and accessible, and let people be able to move around. Then the world is our oyster. A kid who's sitting in Tembisa now, he's 17. Rosebank is so far. Now you want to tell him about New York. Rosebank, I'm cool, dog. It's far. It's not, you understand? Yeah. So he must be, whoever's in charge needs to make it for him that this thing is close to him and accessible. If he wants to go to Soweto now, he must get there. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And if his ideas now, they can be on the internet. It mustn't be like, data, These are such mundane things that if they worked, the youth would be flourishing. But people want to do things like, this program. Nigga, what's the point of a program I have to wake up 3 hours for? Like now the program starts at 8, I have to wake up at 4. Like that's you know what I mean? The Gaut train doesn't start in Soweto. It starts, come on, man. Let the people access things, dog. Make the transport ill, speed in the internet, fix the electricity.
You're done.
We're winning, bro. It's nothing special. So we're not, the people can do the things.
Loyiso Gola, special edition.
By now you should know we're doing this for the culture. By now you should know we're never going to stop. But most importantly, that we're hosting our first live event on the 16th of April. Our tickets are available for $100. Yes, I sound like the Gaut train man because we are taking it on the bullet speed. And most importantly, we have a soundscape of live acts and DJs curated by Mum Thug. And more than anything, it's about the main event, the live panel, with industry experts coming to share their knowledge. And yes, we will have an open Q&A because we know why. The comments are not enough. Social media is not enough. Come join us on this live journey where we share our ideas and meet everyone. And I mean everyone you want to work with, everyone in the creative circle, everyone who can take an entrepreneurial idea to the next level. Yes, we're going to do this in a blink for the girls who get it.